Hello everybody and welcome to today's watch party for The Evil Dead. I'm Andrew and I'm joined by Dom as always, and our great friend Onzi is with us today. Welcome Onzi. A frozen Onzi, but he's there in spirit if not in voice at the moment. I'm sure he'll appear in a moment. Okay, so everybody, there we go. I think Onzi's having a few gremlins, maybe some deadites. So today's sync point will be where it says, Dom, Renaissance Pictures presents.
It will.
There we go.
It is.
There we go. Cool. Okay, so let's do a quick roll call while everyone gets the movie queued up, as we always do. So over on YouTube, I can see Pepjin, welcome, Wendy Pop, James Hellier, Gia Johnson, Tez212, Anthony Galatis, welcome, my friend. And then over on Discord, I can see we've got Eric, Chaos Fear, Lizardman, Sharon, Jedi Wizard, ENIAC, Calbot. I think I said Eric already. Leanne, welcome. Phonic, Edward the Black Prince, Brainwire, Mad Matt 42. And other friends joining us as well. Oh, Onzi's in and out. I don't know. So, Dom, this is a big favourite of yours, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's a big favourite of any righteous human being. It's an incredible movie. And anyone who's never seen this movie, something must be deeply, deeply wrong with them.
I'll hold my hands up. I've never actually seen this movie.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm in for a treat. I've seen, of course, Army of Darkness, but this one, I don't know why, I just never got around to seeing it. I know Phonic, Chaos Fear, they're all, what? Gasp? I don't know. Let's have a look. So, I know everyone's shocked.
Pepjin as well, only watched part 2 and 3.
Wow. And Zvi Kaufman, forgive me for saying it wrong, welcome. Oh, Onzi,
I'm back.
That's okay, Onzi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
That's okay. But then again, it's something maybe we'll get into when the movie starts. As this was a video nasty in the UK, and it was kind of it would have been kind of a restricted movie. I would have imagined this probably didn't get much airing on UK TV maybe when I was younger, Dom. And of course, you being that bit younger than me, it had its status restored to it.
It did. I remember vividly, even though I watched many a horror movie with parental permission as a kid, as a kid. This was one of the movies that I wasn't allowed to pick up the VHS shelf. The box art alone kept alluring me and terrifying me. I was petrified of the box art for this film. And I think it was very similar to the Graham Humphreys painted poster. It was a deadite in the cellar, like kind of getting out of the cellar. It was one of those box arts. I've got foggy, nightmarish half memories of what the VHS art was. But I eventually did watch it. I loved it. The stop motion animation towards the end freaked me out. But apart from that, I thought it was an absolutely amazing, wonderful, lovely experience. And I watched it many, many, many more times.
Okay.
And you're in for a treat.
And
I'll hold your hand for it, don't worry.
Okay, and I know this is a favourite of yours, Onzi. What, you've seen this before many times, I'm assuming.
So many. I lost count of how many times. This is my favorite horror movie of all time. I mean,
okay.
I'm wearing a T-shirt here. There you go. So, yeah, it terrified me as a kid, and I was just telling you guys earlier before we went live that it's just like this kind of movie is the kind of movie that leaves this like when it terrifies you as a kid, it becomes one of your favorites when you get older. I couldn't finish it the first time I watched it. I was so scared. I was watching with my uncle. Actually, it was like, and then I mustered the courage later on to watch it like 6 months later or something like that, and it terrified me for weeks. I had nightmares, but it's great. I love it.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Okay, everybody. So what we're going to do is let's get ready, and we'll do the countdown on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play. Yeah, I think Dom, the problem I would have had with this movie as a kid is I know for a fact it's not something I would have been able to ask my parents to rent for me.
No.
And if it wasn't on on satellite TV rotation, which it wouldn't have been, then it would have skipped me by.
The creative way that Sam Raimi used the camera,
Incredible.
it's insane how something so simple and arguably incredibly cheap to do can make a film have so much character. The camera itself is such a strong character in this film. Andrew, you've seen other Evil Dead movies, and you know that it's not an Evil Dead anything without the not so steady cam just running through the woods, which every horror fan knows was a camera strapped to 2x4s and people running with the camera.
They call it the Samo cam.
Yeah. Such a simple trick, and it's so effective. So effective.
Absolutely.
So effective that it knocked out some of Bruce Campbell's teeth, apparently.
But, got way too close for comfort there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have these things called seat belts in cars for a lot of us. But I can see we've got Pepchin saying Steadicam is overrated. I understand where you're coming from on that. And I can see as well here that a lot of people talking about the movie. Mad Matt saying that car needs its own IMDb page.
Oh, yes, it does. It's been in so many movies.
Yeah. It's not quite the car I was thinking of, but it reminds me of the car with the world's greatest battery in Creepshow 2.
Oh, yeah. That just sits there
right.
and keeps the radio going forever.
Yeah.
That's from the raft story. That's my favorite part of Creepshow 2. I love it.
That's everyone's favorite part. I love those two. Just waving along.
Yeah, exactly. Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert doing a cameo over there, pulling a Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah. Is he drinking moonshine here?
Probably.
I think so. I think they were. They said that they were like they were getting this cheap homemade moonshine from some family that they were staying at, during shooting.
I've drank professional made moonshine. We had some at my wedding, but it's commercial moonshine. It's not the same stuff. It's quite novelty moonshine. It was blackberry flavored, and it was, like I say, at my wedding we had drinks of it, and it was nice, but it's not like real moonshine. However, in my youth, a friend, his mother, they lived on a farm. They made poutine. Have you heard of poutine before?
Poutine, yeah.
Poutine, Irish potato whiskey, but moonshine.
Oh no, I was thinking poutine the food.
No, not poutine that way. Not poutine like that. It's poutine, not as in poutine.
Oh, poutine. Okay.
Poutine.
Confusion there.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not his. No, we didn't go to parties and he'd bring us gravy and fries with cheese on.
We go nice together.
Oh no, he'd come to a party when we were growing up, when we were sort of 16, 17, with 3 2-litre empty Coke bottles refilled with this stuff that burnt with a blue flame.
I'm guessing the trick was to drink it from the container before it melted the container.
You just mix it with any soda or juice you had, and it would destroy you at parties as kids.
There is not, in my opinion, a better location for this film to be shot than right here. This is perfect. How they found this place, I don't know. It's just one of those magical areas where they must have seen it and been like, here, we're filming here.
Location scouting here, without a doubt. Welcome, Jesse Flores, over on YouTube.
Welcome.
So is this actually, again, I'm going to describe, is this actually a set, Dom, or was this cabin constructed or something they found?
No, this is something they found.
Yeah,
It's a real cabin.
Yeah,
It was reconstructed in the second part because part 2 is kind of like a soft reboot of part 1. A lot of the same things happen, but it's more like a recap and then a soft sequel. But they did that because part 2 is part 1 with a much bigger budget. It's part 1 with a budget rather than whatever spare change they could find lying around.
Yeah.
Well, then, if
And they
this
had
is a
to
real,
rebuild.
if this is a real cabin and not a set, let us all be in fear that people actually owned this cabin and used it or lived in it.
Look, come to Vegas, go out in the desert in any direction for like 20, 30 minutes, and you'll see places worthy of filming horror films as well.
Well, if you want it, the real story behind this is that, like, well, that part was creepy with the swinging swing, you know, and it stopped and opened the door. But yeah, I mean, I think Sam Raimi said that when they found the cabin, it was an abandoned cabin, and like seems like cattle were, it was farmland, and cattle were like running rampant through it, I guess, before that, and there was like dung all over the place, and they had to like clean it up, you know. But I'm sure they left it as dusty as it is right now. Give that effect, but yeah, it's.
I'd also say
it's
that
a
light
really
switch, that light switch he just used, unless that's in controlled circumstances, that's really putting the actors at risk because it didn't have a cover on it.
Oh no, the actors were at risk.
Yeah. Anthony Glass says he loves both the Evil Dead, both the two Evil Dead films, the first ones. And James Helly says, remember, Dom lives on the set of The Hills Have Eyes.
Exactly. We have mutant cannibals living in the hills. Oh, actually, keep an eye out for... Wait, is that in part 2? Yeah, that's in part 2. I think. Yeah. There's a poster of The Hills Have Eyes. It's either in this one or part 2. I can't remember. So keep an eye out for a poster of The Hills Have Eyes.
It's in this one later on. You'll see.
There we go.
Nothing creepy about a machete just hung up in there.
Nah.
And rusty ones too.
Yeah,
you don't have rusty hatchets and chains strung up in random pieces? Oh, you've never truly lived.
And you see the Texas Chainsaw references there with the hanging bones?
Yeah.
I think that was like kind of weird to them.
I love the subtitles on this.
Same aspect ratios.
Lizardman says, Slasher Killer Costco, where all your murders come through.
That shot with the camera behind the swinging clock pendulum is amazing. I love that. Very Sam Raimi-esque.
It's something he has never lost in his filmmaking career. His sense of flair and where you get his shots coming from. You can see a Sam Raimi shot from a mile away.
That's a good point, Sharon. So did she bring those curtains? Very out of character with the abandoned motif. Sharon, do you not take a set of clean net curtains with you wherever you go?
Exactly.
Pepjin says his first Sam Raimi film was Spider-Man. Great film.
Hey.
Awesome movie.
I think my first Sam Raimi introduction would have been like a Xena episode that they may have directed. I don't know.
Have you seen Crime Wave? His movie, Sam Raimi, the one he did after this movie?
I haven't seen Crime Wave.
I was a big fan of Darkman, though.
Failed miserably. Oh yeah, Darkman was great. Crime Wave came after Evil Dead and it failed at the box office. It was supposed to be a comedy crime caper. And when it failed, we went back to the drawing board and said, let's just do Evil Dead 2. Let's get the credits back on. So I always, when I see this thing, like, what are they making? Like strawberry juice, tomato. What is that in that blender? What is that? It's like a blood
additive.
Yeah, it's just something to take away the taste of the moonshine, I suspect. James Hellier, our resident oracle, says Crime Wave is out on Blu-ray from Indicator. Thank you, James.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was the beginning of the slapstick in his movies. That's why, but he went overboard in that movie with it because they like the Three Stooges and boink and the kind of thing, and he likes
Why I oughta.
incorporating. Okay, when a cellar door opens by itself, you get the hell out of there. You don't
when it
stay
opens upwards. Yeah, if it opens upwards like that by itself.
I mean, there's upwards draft. This happens all the time with houses that have basements.
Must
Surely.
be the lightest cellar door ever.
Chaosphere says, just a raccoon opening the trapdoor.
As one strong raccoon.
Yeah.
If it's not an animal, then what the hell is it, dude?
Let's go down there and investigate.
The first date I had with the woman that was to become my wife was going to see The Evil Dead the musical. This holds such a special place in my heart for that. And if you haven't seen Evil Dead the musical, if you have the chance to, it comes to town, definitely go see it. Get front row seats, get coated in blood.
Mhm.
It's a great experience. The cast are always
I saw it in Toronto.
hyper lovely.
So good, yeah, so good. Yeah, when you sit on
Such
those
fun.
first 4 rows, it's called the spotter zone. You better
Yep.
wear a poncho or a raincoat because you're going to be drenched in blood.
Oh yeah. You don't wear clothes you like.
That's right. And what I liked about it is that they incorporated Evil Dead 1 and 2 into one story. It wasn't like
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Evil Dead 2. It was like a mix of both in that musical. So that was great.
I would like to see Sam Raimi come back and do like a master edit of parts 1 and 2 to make just the Evil Dead cabin saga or something. That'd be fun. I'm sure there's fan edits out there.
For sure. Actually, Bruce Campbell was in an interview a few years ago, and he said Evil Dead 2, the first 15, 20 minutes, basically like a remake of the first movie because they didn't own the rights to the first movie somehow. I don't know. So so the ending of the first movie, he said if you splice the ending of this first movie with that scene from the second movie, that's basically the definitive Evil Dead. It's he said the first part was just basically like a remake because of copyright and
rights
all that.
issues.
Because people were saying, how stupid are you going back to the cabin again? It's like, no, I wouldn't be that stupid.
Now, you'll be happy to know, Andrew, this part isn't what they found in the woods. This is like a set that they... Well, is it a set? It's something anyway. It's definitely not part of the cabin.
It's the basement of Sam Raimi's uncle's or dad's house or something like that. They used that.
How creepy is that guy's house?
I don't know. I mean,
I love the shot.
See if I can find a photo. I've got a photo of before she passed away, my grandmother's basement, if you want to see something creepy.
Oh, I may have mentioned my grandmother's basement before.
As creepy as this?
It was
my grandmother's wine cellar was terrifying. There was a boarded up, hole in the wall. It was unnerving, and I had to go there all the time. Those are the leakiest pipes I've ever seen.
For sure.
He has such an expressive face, Bruce Campbell, doesn't he? It's so animated, kind of like Jim Carrey, with the eyebrows being really archable. Lumps of... What are these, just gourds that are floating around?
No idea what that is exactly. Like, wash.
Oh God, Andrew.
Yes.
Oh, that's what. Oh, wow. Okay, that definitely is very Evil Dead-esque. Yeah. Basements and attics really creep me out. Like,
Yeah,
especially
well,
if they're
this
like
is
not that
There it
empty.
is.
yeah, but the reason the basement got like that was my father's brother, my uncle, was living with my grandmother, and he had a problem with being a bit of a hoarder and just letting stuff go everywhere. And
Ah.
he's also a bit of an
Mhm.
idiot. We held the wake for her funeral in a bowling alley. Don't ask.
Oh, I remember you saying, yeah.
Yes,
Oh wow.
there is a photo of me with the arcade games behind me at the funeral.
That is
Oh,
a
it's,
very strange place to choose for a wake.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there was the poster just a little few seconds ago on
mm-hmm.
the wall, Dom, of the Hills of
Yep.
Eyes. Yeah,
There was the Hills of
coincidentally.
Eyes.
Mhm. And by the way, Wes Craven did like a thank you back to Sam Raimi by showing Evil Dead in on the TV in the Nightmare on Elm Street
Nightmare on
Part
Elm
One
Street,
movie.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll show you I'll show your movie.
Yeah.
Kind of a nod back.
James, there hasn't been a Bubba Hotep watch party yet, but we will at some point, I'm sure.
I do like me some Bubba Hotep.
Andrew, the expression of of shock on your face in that picture is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is like something out
Oh
of a
my God.
sitcom, honestly. Wait, we're holding it
Yeah.
where? The
Wow.
bowling alley.
Yeah.
Uh,
Actually, that's a really good idea, Liz, at Man and Chaos Sphere. An Evil Dead choose your own adventure book.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be awesome. There has been so many attempts at making an Evil Dead video game. So many of
I've
them.
got the Evil Dead video game for the Xbox. It's okay. It's
The,
not.
the recent one, or
Yeah, the recent one.
yeah, it's the problem with it is it's like I'm tired of these always online only games. This game
mm,
deserves to have like its own offline campaign, but they keep
Yeah.
doing it
it
just like Friday the 13th, like the Texas
they've
Chainsaw one
had.
coming up.
They were in the Dreamcast days. I remember picking it up, and it was hard as
Actually,
nails. It wasn't fair. It was like a
yeah, yeah,
Resident Evil style
yeah.
game, but
It's
the
very
Deadites
buggy.
just rip you to shreds. And you have like three
Hmm.
shotgun shells, and it takes 4 to kill anything.
Right. They did, I think, 2 or 3 of those on the PlayStation 1 and then PS2 and Dreamcast, no?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, James Helly says, what is it with horror directors not owning rights to their own films? Romero, Craven, Raimi? I guess it's possibly because these films were made at the start of their
Careers. They were young.
careers and they had
They
to
were
give everything
foolish.
away to get the movies made or released.
Yep.
Were those reel-to-reel players or recorders still popular back in like the late 70s, or was that like I always thought it was like a 60s, late 60s kind of early. I guess the professor there was in the early 70s, late 60s in that cabin, I guess. Maybe.
Must
Well,
have
if we're looking,
been.
it's 1981.
Hmm. But they started shooting it in 79, so maybe it was still a 70s thing. I don't know.
That is such a fun little effect as well. Just lifting up leaves. Probably
Mhm.
used a pitchfork or something and just lifted it slightly.
Hell Rising. Are you guys excited for the new Evil Dead movie that's coming out, Evil Dead Rising?
I am. I'm genuinely excited. I've heard good things. I always go into these Evil Dead movies that don't have Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell attached to them with mild hesitation, but I'm always pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, they turn out very well because they respect the source material.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the good thing about it.
Well, Jesse Threads over on YouTube says a good comment here. A lot of the directors borrow money independently also, so lose rights that way. Yeah, it's the borrow,
Yep.
beg, and steal to get the movies made. You make a deal with the devil.
Hmm.
And you end up getting burned.
Always.
That couch is horrifically 1970s. They picked that up off the street somewhere. There's no
Yeah.
way.
Probably was in the
It
cabin.
matches the wood brown.
Is it just
can-
me as well? Ash's
can
little
s-
pendant that
So I
he
can
has
smell
for
that
his
cabin.
girl. Oh yeah, you can smell the mildew and stuff, can't you?
Yeah.
Right.
But is it just me, or is this pendant one of the ugliest pieces of jewelry to get for any human being?
I always thought that, Dom. I was like thinking to myself, like, what the heck is? Like, he goes to a jewelry store. What would you like, sir? Yeah, I'd like that one with the magnifying glass.
The weird
That's great.
magnifying glass thing. Just change the music.
I like the extreme
for this.
close-up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The extreme close-ups make it all like again. Just change the music, and it's a horror scene.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
no, you have romantic music in there, and it's pleasant and fun.
Oh, goodness me.
I have to tell you,
Bossman Robin's joining us from Australia. Welcome, Robin.
Hello from Australia. What's the
Hi,
future
Robin.
like? But yeah, Andrew, look at this. Isn't this the most heinous piece of jewelry you could purchase for a single person?
bad.
I don't know. Maybe she wants to
I
go
guess
be able
it's
to
the
like
cheapest
start
money for the
fires.
Well, I am a pyromaniac. This is.
Mhm. If she wears this in the sun for too long, if that,
It's gonna
it'll burn a
singe your
hole in the
chest.
chest.
Yeah.
That's right.
Speaking of the soundtrack, by the way, Joseph Loduca, who did this is one of the best horror soundtracks ever. Like, it's got these creepy, violent string plucks, and it's so terrifying. If you listen to this at night with the lights off, part of the plucking, it's really, really scary stuff. So amazing
It is a
soundtrack for this movie.
very
It was
effective
perfectly done.
soundtrack.
I thought
It has.
they were.
They were.
Those necklaces are things that old people would have.
To read.
Right.
To look at things that they were struck magnifying. It's a magnifying
Just like
pendant.
nick it from his grandma or something.
Yeah,
He couldn't
yeah,
afford the real deal, so he just got the best thing he could.
Well, Tiffany make one apparently.
Oh.
So, yeah, but they are.
There's
they're,
actually replicas of this fans, for fans of Evil Dead. They were like making these replicas, like limited number of replicas of this this magnifying glass necklace, and sold out pretty quick.
Well, I mean, they were selling bits of the cabin, weren't they? At some fans would go everywhere and say,
They were
"Oh yeah, this is
stealing
a piece of
chunks
wood
of
from the
it.
cabin." Yeah.
It burned down. The fans, from all the fans who went over there, someone left a cigarette or something, burnt the whole thing down. The only thing that was left was the chimney and some like pieces of bricks over there.
The thing about the soundtrack, it's very effective, like you said. It's
yeah.
It's incredibly atmospheric. It has notes of like horror movies from the 60s, like with the romance themes there. They're still unsettling.
Right.
And it sounds like something from Night of the Living Dead. But it also has these more electric, warbly sound effects that came into being like the late 70s, early 80s. It's a soundtrack that like spans several generations of horror, and you can just feel the tension. And pretty much every time the music's playing, something is drawing your attention. And when the music isn't playing, it's the silence is so suffocating. You're like, what's happening? What's happening?
For sure.
So here's the question. That shot of the kind of looking around through the window, the stalking through the window we see there, that's a very common trope in the Friday the 13th movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which did it first?
I believe that it did it simultaneously. Well, Halloween did it first. So they would have.
I would say Halloween, because Halloween came out before, right?
Yeah, Halloween would probably be the first of
8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you know
she's
what
going into
other
the
movie
woods.
also did this a lot too? Well, the movie Madman. If you guys remember Madman,
Yeah,
there's a lot of window peeking too. Oh,
Yeah,
this
this is-
scene, coming scene was like nasty.
Yeah. This is why I don't go to the woods, especially at dark.
Oh, it gets
I
worse.
It gets worse. I posted a video of actually like real trees that move. I'm shocked and terrified of that. Have people shot real trees that just move in the woods by themselves? It's crazy.
Yeah.
They're just friendly ents. This one, not so friendly.
Not so friendly, you know.
I'm not being funny, but if I heard like crazy noises in the dark woods and I was inside a building of some kind, if I was distressed, I might find someone else in the building with me to comfort me. And if not, I certainly wouldn't go out in my nightdress into the woods.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jordan. Great to have you joining us live for this one.
Unfortunately,
Jordan.
this isn't a Guyver transformation sequence. This is just...
It's not.
This is just nasty.
So nasty.
Yep.
I think Ellen Sandways, the person playing Cheryl, she said she came out a few years ago and said that she was very uncomfortable doing the scene, but like they were like telling her, "Come on, it's gonna be fun." It's like it was a carefree like time back then where like anything goes, right? This would not fly today. I can guarantee you that.
I'm sorry, Calbot. That's probably the comment of the night, my friend.
Groot, no.
I'll never look at Groot the same again, Calbot.
Yeah.
Every time I am like, yeah, let's watch The Evil Dead, my mind blanks this scene out. I keep forgetting it exists. You'd think this would be the scene that, like, really hammers home that it's a video nasty, you shouldn't watch this movie.
It's not a pleasant scene, that's for sure.
I don't think it's supposed to be.
The whole movie's... Oh, God, that's...
Yeah.
That part really gets me every time I see it. So.
Well, the thing is I've only seen Army of Darkness. This is so tonally very different.
Yep, yeah.
Army of Darkness is like a kids movie compared to this one, really, when it comes to like the horror element of it.
I can't help but feel it was somewhat inspired by Hills Have Eyes, given the poster and everything.
Probably, yeah. Do you know that there's a movie out there from the 70s or 60s? It's called Equinox. If you want to look that up, Andrew, it's called Equinox. We actually, like me and Leanne, we just watched it recently because I told her I think Sam Raimi got his concept for Evil Dead from that movie, Equinox. Of course, he'll never admit it, but a lot of movies are inspired by other movies, and it's basically also the same thing: a book that summons demons and like creatures come and they're in the forest and they're getting attacked. Same concept. So, but not with as much horror elements as this, you know. So definitely, I think he was inspired by that a bit.
The real shame about this...
What's that?
There's such beautiful woods. I'd love to go for a stroll in those woods during the daylight.
Not at night.
No, I'm not mad.
But the
why
the other thing as well
they always trip, you know?
Yeah, this also shows the kind of guerrilla filmmaking obviously they must have done with this, because nowadays you wouldn't let one of your main actors run through what appears to be an actual woods that hadn't had a sort of a path pre-cleared of trip hazards.
That's probably why she
weren't
fell.
Insured back then. They weren't insured back then. There wasn't any like Actors Guild or so. There's like Andrew said, just guerrilla filmmaking. This scene, by the way, was in their prequel movie that was kind of like the prototype for this one called Within the Woods. So they had that exact same scene in it, and he just incorporated it into this movie with he shot it a little bit better, but they used that same exact scene with her trying to get into the cabin, you know.
I'm leaving them a terrible review on Airbnb after this.
I'm
The
never coming
shotguns
back
and the dagger
again.
were fine, but the demons...
The demons were up all night.
Noisy,
Yes,
noisy
Sharon,
demons.
that's the movie. Yes,
And
Sharon,
the
that's
Wi-Fi
the
was
movie.
spotty.
That's Equinox. Yeah, Sharon posted the poster for
Oh,
Equinox.
that's cool.
That's the movie. That's the movie. Check it out, and then come back and tell me if it wasn't inspired, like if Evil Dead wasn't inspired by that.
You know what, Lizard Man? I have no idea what got it on the video nasty list. I'm gonna guess the gore, because the UK is not very happy with gore. Sex as well. We're very stiff upper lipped about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though we were European, we... Oh, no.
No,
Pish posh.
we're British. British.
We're British.
We haven't.
Wouldn't dare. Unprotected hand-holding? Oh, no. What kind of slutty behaviour do you think we do in the UK?
Yeah.
Nonsense.
We saw her ankle.
Gosh! Andrew, please, we're live! You can't talk of such things.
That's why I went on the videos of the ankle, you know?
Yeah,
Yep.
The
right.
UK.
All that raw ankle footage.
That was the last straw for the sentence.
Demons and shotguns, that's fine, A-okay. But ankles? That's so much of it. What is this, pornographic?
Yeah, so Equinox was a 1970 movie, so definitely a decade before Evil Dead. So you had plenty of time to get inspired by that one, for sure.
I do like in-universe here how everyone's like, what's she being so weird about? Why does she want to go home? She only ran through the woods at night and she's cut up to oblivion. What's the big deal?
I tell you something, if I was her, I wouldn't have my window wound down while all that was going on.
For sure. Oh, the classic horror movie trope, the car won't start, right?
Yeah.
Except that Sam Raimi does make it start, just to you know, put it on its head, right?
I mean, this was before the trope really existed as well, I think. I mean, this was
Really?
early
I don't know.
days
Like
of...
I thought maybe some, I thought maybe some movies in the 70s probably had that kind of, you know, thing, but I don't know.
Mad Matt, we're joking
maybe
about
you're right.
we're joking about the British stuff. Yes, Benny Hill was saucy.
Yeah, incredibly.
Yeah.
I love Benny Hill.
Oh, but it's all innuendo. It's okay as long as it's innuendo.
Right.
That's how they skirt around it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're seeing now they're going to try to escape. Again, they don't look to be on pretty well-defined roads. Why are you driving around with your window open?
It's one of those dodgy cars
And
that can only start if windows open.
Where is that mist coming from in the first? Look at this angle that it's like the camera's tilted. I love that. Like the car looks straight, but he's walking tilted. How did they do that? Did they like park the car on like an angle?
I would say they parked the car on a. Yeah, they might have done because if you look, her hair
is
when she
tipping.
is like down. It's an amazing shot. Very, very creepy. It's kind of like Silent Hill video games. You know how the camera kind of starts twisting.
It's a Dutch angle, but the people are at a Dutch angle, and the frame isn't. It's genius.
Yeah,
it's so good.
They're going to see the extra monster on the road in front of them.
Yeah, just crawls out.
Yeah.
He's always in the woods somewhere.
If you listen out, you can hear him cooing to this day. Oh look, that's where all the smoke's coming from. The two lads are just vaping up a storm. The two lads that were there on the highway.
Right. That's right.
Someone forgot to put out their campfire, I guess.
About 6 months after I started driving, when I was 7, just turned 18. About 6 months after I got my driving license, as was the style at the time. When you get your driving license, you go out with your friends and you just have to go out driving for no reason because you can drive. And I was the first one who could drive and had a car. So
that's awesome.
Myself and a friend went out for a drive, and in sort of the rural, some of the roads near where I used to live in sort of rural Wales, and it turned into, we somehow ended up on a mountaintop in thick fog, and the fog was so thick there was a sheer drop basically on either side of the road, and he had to walk in front of the car as we were crawling along, and that was like a horror movie. Pitch black and just thick fog.
You're lucky you're...
You know, whenever I'm driving, and there's like whenever I'm driving, there's like a rocky mountain right at the road. I'm always scared at night because you never know if there's any boulder that might fall out of nowhere. You know, Final Destination.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where it gets really,
scene.
really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Professor Venkman knew this trick.
Wow, you're correct again. For a
Yeah, Eric. Just like Peter Venkman. That's right.
Two of spades, jack of diamonds, jack of clubs.
Ooh.
Oh, so creepy.
Some of the most effective demon voices.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
They did that by putting her on like a seesaw behind the window, like it kind of swung her up like that. That's how she's elevated. I always wondered, like, how the heck did they do that?
Yeah, because it's
wired?
so flowy, isn't it? She has such like
It is, yeah.
a mystical flow
another creative method by Sam Raimi and crew, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh no, the pencils!
Mm-hmm.
I've got to be honest. Even if it was a friend of mine in that situation, I wouldn't be touching her. I'd be getting a big stick and prodding her just to.
Yeah. Don't touch her. That's right.
Physically, just to prod her. You have sticks.
Damn.
Oh.
Yep.
So
Yep.
nasty.
Oh.
She broke off the whole thing, half of it into her ankle. Super strong.
Can we also?
This is the beginning of many tropes.
Can we also be thankful that Snickers haven't hijacked this into a "when you're hungry" commercial?
That's right. You're
not you when you're hungry.
Yeah.
You turn into a deadite.
Yeah.
The sound effect, by the way, Andrew, of the pencil going into the ankle and twirling around.
Yeah.
An apple. Yeah. Very simple. Just an apple being.
Oh. Amazing. Yeah. It's like the stabbing that they do with cabbages. Like, how did her face transform so quickly? First stage to that, it was so quick. Her face changed Cheryl's face into that. She decomposed real quick, that one.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I have to tell you, Cheryl, this second form of Cheryl is one of the most terrifying movie monsters that I've ever seen, especially with her under the,
raise the roof.
It's so that's the thing that gave me nightmares when I was a kid. Because they use the eyes, they're not even just like plain white. They're like this bloody pussy
milky
red. Yeah, it's just like decomposition all the way through, even in the eyes.
I still wouldn't be staying in the damn cabin.
For sure.
Well, there's nowhere else to go now. The only road they came in on was it's all upended.
Yeah, but
try and swim it.
Yeah, but okay. Well, what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't be in a room on my own.
Oh yeah,
she's unconscious.
I know she's unconscious, but I would. Yeah, but surely you'd have everyone together in one room.
Well, that's the movie trope,
and I'd be keeping a damn good eye on that. Yeah.
That's a really good first-person perspective of Deadite Cheryl, I guess, right? The way she's laughing and breathing. So good.
I think this is something a lot of horror doesn't do very well. Like having something creepy that sounds unnerving and it's constantly nagging at you. Like the idea of it constantly being present and just snarling and growling.
It's
And this
really
here,
scary. That's
like,
part of the fear, right? Mhm.
yeah, like showing the like the breakdown, the mental breakdown that the other characters have.
Right.
Mm.
Effective. Look, she's noticed the eyes too. That far, the way she's laughing maniacally is just so creepy.
It's creepy. It's downright creepy.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lizard Man, I think you're right there. When trapped in an evil cabin in an evil woods, it's best to maintain watch by a fireplace with literally any firearm you can get a hold of. Any weapon.
True.
Rusty
True.
hatchets and
True.
all.
Fire poker. He's got a fire poker there. I'd have that in my hand if nothing else.
Yeah.
Come on, don't be silly. There's nothing out there.
Except for a self-swinging swing.
It's
It
just the
stops by
cameraman. It's
itself.
fine.
Oh, just try and get a good night's sleep. It'll all be better in the morning.
Yeah.
Mhm. Usually, the cameramen are the best survivors of these horror movies.
Yep.
They're the only ones who survive.
But again,
Close the
this
neck.
groaning.
The oh, they actually broke real glass in that, and she got cut or hurt by
So you hear
sharded
someone.
glass. I think that.
You hear someone screaming. You know crazy crap's going on. So you put down what looks like a sword in your hand and walk off to go and investigate.
It's like a Carpathian dagger. It's fine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This window
Nothing
wasn't
s-
broken earlier.
Nothing strange has happened here.
That mist wasn't there earlier.
Let me pop my head outside. It's
Yeah.
absolutely safe.
Those wolves weren't howling earlier.
Mhm.
Must be fine.
Everything looks okay.
Something
I'll call the
strange
window
about this.
repairman in the morning.
Yeah. It really is. Honestly, this is. He's stupid enough that he deserves to die.
Poor Scotty.
Even though he's the bravest of them all, but he's just the
I don't know, is he
dumbest.
brave or stupid?
It's like very close on the edge of both, I guess.
Yeah.
God, this cabin is such a character, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything about it's just wrong. Everything.
Everything.
It should be like a litmus
And they
test.
still
Like a...
stayed.
Exactly, yeah. It should be like testing for some kind of psychopathy. Like, picture this house. Do you want to stay there for a night? And if they go, yeah.
Well, that's what they made fun of in the movie Cabin in the Woods. Remember the movie Cabin in the Woods? They
Yeah.
were like making fun of the
Yeah.
whole Evil Dead thing.
My God, look at the state of the bathtub.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, sound
Sharp
design.
nails.
Beautiful sound design.
It's amazing. Oh, look at that creepy shot of Cheryl. Close up of Cheryl. Bird.
Yeah. Push her back in by the feet.
And back you go.
Yeah.
Look, they just want your skin, man. Just give it to them. Okay? Just give it to them and be done.
You don't need it.
There's shelf number 2 being
Yeah, how many
Yeah.
shelves?
this movie was like really good, very good friends with the shelves. waves that dagger.
You see, if he'd have taken that with him,
Look, he has his own combat knife.
It would have been better, yeah.
yeah.
He has his own knife. Ooh, this scene was like,
Oh,
damn.
Oh,
yeah, use the axe.
Oh. Just chewing through your hand, man. Like,
Ah.
oh.
Again,
Sam Raimi loves
Snickers
lots
advert.
of hands in his- There we go. At least this one
have a
didn't run
Snickers
around.
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the scream, you
God.
know, the dub with the screaming is so good. That monster kind
Yeah.
of like sound is so good.
Like I said, the sound design is top
It's
notch.
incredible. Yeah, it's so good.
Is that
And
dagger
I
got a
like how
monkey?
the skull is like spitting blood, you know? It's like
Is that dagger got a
as
monkey
if it's
skull on it?
sucking out some of the blood.
I think so.
Is that
Oh,
a
okay.
monkey? Is that a monkey skull?
It's a monkey
Or a
skull
shrunken
dagger.
head, maybe. I don't
Oh, I
It's a
don't know.
Carpathian demon skull.
know. Skull, yeah. Oh, look at that. Got milk?
Oh.
What is that like supposed to be? What is that white stuff anyway? It's not bile.
Viscous
crazy.
demon fluid.
Well, Petchin, our friend, says, so far I prefer the second version for its humour, but yeah, for its humour it's a bit more fun.
I fully agree that part 2 is a superior film, but I cannot help but enjoy and appreciate this version. It was done on such a dime budget, and it shows such promise for a
Yeah.
director and actors, and it shows what you can do with nothing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I understand why a lot of people like the second one. It is superiorly shot and like because it's got a much bigger budget, but this one has this kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre visceral, realistic, kind of like
Yeah.
gritty, grainy look to it, and that's what adds to the terror. And it was designed to be a pure horror movie, no comedy. The comedy in it is unintentional. Is not intentional. I mean, but I mean, this is the kind of movie that when I tell someone who's never seen it, I tell them go like at 1 a.m. or 12 midnight, go watch it alone in a dark room with the volume up. And then you'll get the full effect. If you watch it with a group of people who start laughing, it's going to take away with the lights and it's going to take away the impact. You know, this needs to be seen for that claustrophobic feeling alone, you know?
For sure.
Don't drop your only weapon next to the twitching demon corpse.
It's just a pile of limbs now. What's it going to do?
So Pepjin said they like this as well, but our new friend Jordan says, it was Evil Dead 1 that made me change my mind on the entire series. The first one I watched was Evil Dead 2, but I think Evil Dead 1 made me respect the trilogy more. I liked the movies, but Evil Dead made me a fan. Evil Dead 1 made me a fan.
Yep.
Yeah, Sharon, exactly. Drop the axe, leave the sword. Yeah, just leave all the weapons there and stand by. Hang on. You know someone's been attacked through a bloody window. Leave the weapons on the floor and stand next to a glass window with your backs to it.
Like how like Bruce Campbell standing against the wall, like what
Like
the hell
trying to
just
climb
happened?
up it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still in that shock phase.
Okay, and who's keeping an eye on the demon girl in the basement who's peeking out?
Oh, it's fine. She's just in the basement.
Yeah.
She's safe in the basement.
She's
Yeah,
staying
Sharon.
away. She's like enjoying
Well, Sharon
it.
says, Shelley's dead and Cheryl is undead and locked in the basement. What a crappy weekend. Yes,
So true, Sharon.
that's true.
Worst weekend ever.
Well, I don't know. They could have gone to Denny's first.
Yeah, it's true. It could have been worse.
That would be really, really bad, yeah. Or imagine if they went to Taco Bell before then they had the runs that night at the cabin. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Double
true.
whammy.
I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of a place called Perkins Bakery?
No.
It's a chain, a bit like a
No.
Denny's in
Oh.
America. I've been there.
No, we don't have that.
Everything that we went to Two Perkins when I've been to America before, everything in Perkins is sticky. Even the walls. They bring 4 kinds of syrup to the table. It's like the walls bleed syrup. Everything is just ingrained with stickiness.
Chaos Fear said something really funny. It's true. It's Weekend at Deadites instead of at Bernie's. Weekend at Deadites. That was a good one.
I'm just remembering Scotty in the Evil Dead musical now.
Oh yeah. It was a funny musical through and through for sure.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
great.
I see our friend James wants to ask a question. Also, Jordan said it would look like Bishop at the end of Aliens with Taco Bell.
True.
Sorry, she's having a nice little sleep.
Yeah, she's fine.
Mm-hmm.
How's your ankle?
Oh, he has a look in a second, I believe, and some stop motion animation takes place. Yeah, stop motion was the bane of my existence as a child. It freaked me out. It was the uncanny movement.
Uh-huh. Oh, look at that. The progression of her.
Okay, and you didn't think to bring an axe or sword with you in case this might happen?
He's seen many ankle pencil related incidents. And none of them happen like this. Yep, there he is.
Here comes
Mad Matt says, I'd like to attend a watch party on location, like Dawn of the Dead shown at the Monroeville Mall, or Blob Fest at the Colonial Theatre.
I want to go to Blobfest one of these days.
That would be cool. What is Blobfest? Is it a horror convention?
It's watching The Blob at the cinema where...
Cool.
Yeah. The cinema where The Blob happened, where it plops out. It's great.
That's awesome, yeah.
Ooh, his wrist looks like it hurts.
Bones.
I've seen your wrist. You're going to die.
Oh, don't! Oh, it's the way he just leaned in on it. You're gonna be fine. Shakes the wrist.
Shake him.
Well, our friend Jordan on YouTube asks, do any of the group consider Within the Woods to be an actual Evil Dead prequel? I think there's a place for it as before Evil Dead. I'm not familiar with it.
I personally see it as like 0.5, not exactly a canonical prequel.
Of
mainly because it
Within
was
the Woods?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see,
Within
what
the
I would
Woods
have...
was just basically like
Yeah.
for the movie. It's not really connected.
Yeah, it's a blueprint. The Evil Dead definitely wouldn't exist without it.
Within the Woods was on an Indian burial ground, like a like a native Indian burial ground. This one's like a completely different, like Sumerian demon thing. So,
well, James Helly says I would have nuked the site from the campsite from orbit just to be sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like Resident Evil, like Raccoon City, just like nuke the hell out of it. You know?
But it never works.
Never works. They always come back. Like, how creepy is it if your girlfriend just suddenly starts laughing like that and saying, you know, we're gonna get you, and like you don't know
my
what
wife
the hell's
sings
going
that to
on
me
there.
every night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what puts you to sleep. Like,
do you know what I would do if I was Ash? I would jump on that trap door and trap her fingers just so she goes, ow!
I think.
Right.
I swear that does happen at one point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's that creepy laugh. You can't do it.
Honestly, I'd struggle. Have you been to LV426 lately, Dom? Not lately.
Yeah.
Not since I had this incident.
Like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I've had this discussion many times. When I watched Shaun of the Dead with my mother, she turned to me at one point and said, "If I turned into a zombie, you'd kill me, right?" And I'm like, "Mom,
Well, these are
No!
these are the important questions, Dom.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough choice for sure.
I ain't surviving a zombie apocalypse. I'm diabetic. It would be. I'm a liability in the apocalypse."
I'm all right now. I got better.
Let me out. You can
I
trust
was a
me.
newt, but I'm fine.
Yes. Jordan saying, Dom, with your mum, what? Yeah, you'll know our friend Dom here, Jordan. His parents watched a lot of films you might think were inappropriate with him.
Hey, Shaun of the Dead's a recent one. I was an adult, I think, when it came out. When did it come out? Hang on, I need to...
Cool.
2003 from memory, or 4.
All right, I'll take it back.
Yes, Edward's right. Sorry, I'm sorry I stabbed your ankle. And now I'll let the crazy girl out the...
Just don't let her near her staples. She'll go crazy.
Yeah.
Why are you so close to it in the first place? Like, just
He's
can't you
having a
do it
good
from?
look.
Oh,
So she could have... Oh,
She could have punched out whenever she wanted, yeah.
mm-hmm.
She's been playing with them. That's
She's
the thing about the
toying with
Deadites.
him, yeah, exactly. They were just toying with him. Oh, don't! Now he hurt their feelings. He called them bastards. It's not nice. After all they did. Oh, there she is again.
yeah. Exactly, James. The extreme stupidity of Ash cannot be underestimated. I do think he's certainly considerably more stupid in Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like how each Deadite seems to have its own character.
Style. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And look too. They look completely different from each other. They've got different. They decompose in different ways, except for the eyes.
Oh, he's pulling her by a bad ankle. That's no wonder she's upset.
Mm-hmm.
This
Like when I
lighting as
first
well.
saw this movie, yeah, when I first saw this movie when I was a kid, I was like, this is like not a very harmful Deadite. Little did I know. Until later. Harmless. Just dragged her out and left her there.
All of you.
I do love the subtlety of Ash just pouring liquid into his mouth and it's just spilling out. And he's fine with it. He's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Ash is like, maybe I poured too much water. Now he realized that Scott's gone.
Yeah, he would have been all right if you hadn't given him that illegal moonshine.
Exactly, yeah, that's what killed him off.
Alcohol poisoning.
It's true.
Those damn wolves again.
Sam Raimi's car that appears in every single movie. Oh.
Ow.
Nasty.
James wants to know, Dom, is this better than Extro?
You think? Is it? Dom's thinking about it too.
That's a tough one. From a filmmaking perspective,
It's an
I
easy
would
yes for me.
say you can still cut a lot from this and make it better. Whereas with, I don't know, I get a lot of shit for this, but with Extro, it's an incredibly tight film.
Hold on a second. Cut more from this? This movie's like, what, an hour and 20 minutes long or 15 minutes long? It's still short.
Hour and 25.
I can say with honesty,
so tightly edited.
You can cut the whole tree sequence and the film is still effective.
For sure, yeah, for sure. But like what I love about this movie, what makes this my favorite horror movie of all time is that there's no other movie like this except other Evil Dead movies that are
Exactly.
after the first 15 minutes is basically like a roller coaster back to back gory horror sequence from beginning to end, you know? No other movie has done like name one movie that's done that. None.
There is not a
So he
film
really
like
put
The Evil
everything.
Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Raimi and
probably need
crew.
to put your friend down as well. The one you think's dead clearly isn't. You've got a track record when people appear to be dead, they're not at the moment. So everybody gets a double tap through the forehead.
Look at this crack shot on the floor.
It's
Isn't this a cool
beautiful.
shot?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
It's such creative filmmaking.
Ground
This
level, so
movie,
good.
this movie is definitely far more creative than Extro. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying Dom's going to defend Extro till he's dead, and I will. I will.
Yeah, I can see that too.
You know what? I didn't mind Extro all that much.
Yes, I knew it. I knew it.
But that's the Britishness in me, though, Dom, isn't it?
Yes.
Extro or ET, Andrew?
Extro more
There
than
you go.
ET.
I knew it. Now, there's a chainsaw.
The legendary chainsaw.
The legendary chainsaw.
I owned a chainsaw for a very brief period, but my wife made me sell it after I'd used it about 3 or 4 times.
Like, did she catch you like in Halloween or something? Like in the back, running around like Leatherface. So
No,
that's
no,
it,
no,
Andrew.
no.
You're getting rid of it.
It was a gas chainsaw, and it did scare me as well. Basically, we had a tree that came down in the garden, and I had to cut it up so we could get rid of it. And
Right.
she was like, "Once that tree's cut up, it's gone. You do not need the chainsaw anymore."
We do not want this weapon here.
No chainsaws.
I would
I
argue
mean, the
this is.
sound of the chainsaw is terrifying. It really
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's a scary sound.
In terms of what you were saying, Anzi, I would argue this is one of the most creative films. Not for the story. The story's it exists.
Yeah,
And it's
very
fine.
basic.
But the filmmaking that goes into it, yes, it's guerrilla and it's not. It's rough around the edges, but they threw so much up the wall. In the same way that Airplane is like a comedy that has everything in it. This is
Right.
that for filmmaking. This should be taught in filmmaking schools just by shot composition, lighting, sound design. Everything about
I
a film
agree.
besides the story and the writing is just
Story, yeah.
crisp and clean.
No, James.
Like for
it's not that I could have been
$300,000.
Leatherface.
Amazing.
The other reason I can't have the chainsaw, James, is by my own admission, I'm too much of an idiot. This is why it is good I live in a country where I'm not allowed a firearm, because if you've ever seen the episode of The Simpsons where Homer is changing the channels with the gun on the TV, opening beer, that would be me. Yeah? So keep me away from dangerous things.
I'm also a little afraid if like
that-
Creative EC has like a holiday together. We go away like in the woods, a cabin in the woods, and we all I don't know, summon eldritch demons and stuff. You're gonna kill us all off, Andrew, just
Probably.
ruthlessly. You're gonna
Calvert posted that scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the end. That's what I imagine Andrew was doing with the chainsaw. That animated game over there.
I'm sorry, Dom, I've got to double tap you. I was like, Andrew, I've not done anything. I've not been stabbed in the ankle with a pencil. I can't be sure.
Yeah. Double tap to be sure. Life lessons to live by.
I am serious, James, and don't call me Shirley. This music. Oh, it's
So good.
beautiful.
Like he uses the piano too in the scenes in the movie to give that kind of like dramatic, sad kind of effect to it, or and then ramps it up with the plucking and the creepy music after that. It's like as if Bruce Campbell's covering our faces in dirt.
Exactly. Little subtle camera work like that, just
Smooth.
pouring
Right.
dirt onto the lens.
Amazing.
Well, a sheet of glass on the lens, but
Glass,
whatever.
yeah. Right.
I can't imagine this shoot would have been fun,
No.
but it looks fun. Like there's so much energy in everything. But it must have been hell.
Sam Raimi enjoyed torturing Bruce Campbell.
I'm sure he did.
He admitted it. He did.
Oh.
Like he injured his leg for real, and he was like poking it with a stick. Sam Raimi, off camera and stuff like that. He was like, he enjoyed torturing Bruce.
James, who kills us all off on the team bonding weekend. I'm probably the first to go, honestly. I'm such a softie. I'm much like Ash. I'm more like an Ash than anyone. I'm so nice to people that when they come at me with
you have hope
claws,
you can end up as the hero, the survivor at the end.
I heavily doubt it. Andrew's going to pick me off before then. Just
Oh,
out
yeah.
of principle. You're being too nice, Dom. It's suspicious. Pulls out a combat knife that he's been hiding.
They're so strong, those Deadites, huh? When they're like fully
Yeah.
transformed, they're like super strong. Deadite Pinata, Chaos Sphere, that's right.
That's right.
Oh. But this is the part that Sam loves torturing him, like just drenching him in blood throughout the movie. Drenching Bruce in blood.
Apparently, we need to offer Dom as a sacrifice.
I'm gonna got the marker sacrifice, so it's about right. I'm ready. If they'll take me, I mean, they just give me right back. No. We want something better, something worthwhile. You call this a sacrifice? There. Poor Bruce.
Well, she blew the hell off that door.
She got bored with no one to torture.
Mm-hmm.
James, that's why they give me back.
The pendulum behind him is like stopped too. No?
Yeah. It's like everything is wrong.
That's a sign that there's something bad is going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, now you pick the shotgun up again. I can assure you, if I'd taken something outside to bury it, that shotgun would be going everywhere with me.
See what I mean?
For sure.
You'd be ruthless. I'm here. I'm the one dropping the shotgun, not chainsawing people up, going like, "I can't do it, man. I can't." And you're like, "Pathetic. Give it here." Bang.
Yeah. I'd be like, "Well, we don't know if they've turned, but they might turn. We don't know if they've been bitten, but they might get bitten. So let's preemptively drop them."
Yeah. So
look, Robin didn't eat his Snickers bar. We can't trust him anymore. that was meaty.
Look at that. Got her in the shoulder. You got her in the face and the shoulder. I guess the buck kind of spread, right?
Yeah.
That shot, then Ash jumping over the camera. Mwah, beautiful.
Yeah, so good that shot. There's a hand part. Where there you go.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed, like, from the outside the cabin looks small, but from the inside it looks huge. Like it's like
the TARDIS.
Pretty. Yeah. Especially in Evil Dead 2, like it's massive on the inside.
Oh, there's long flowing shots in Evil Dead 2 where the camera just goes through
the cabin. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, we're getting close to an Assault on Precinct 13 level of siege now.
Oh, it's such a good film.
We should do a watch party on that film. It's 70s.
I don't know. It's 70s, but I don't know what. And it's not.
It's horror. It's the zombie film.
I don't know.
Did you like the remake of Assault on Precinct 13? It was pretty good,
I-
actually. I enjoyed that too.
I
don't
didn't
think I've
watch
ever
it because
seen
I
it.
hold the original in such high esteem.
It's a great movie. Nothing beats the original, but I think they
Yeah.
did a good job with the remake on that one. Oh, look at this part, the bloody pipe. Like, this is now
Yeah.
that the cabin itself is like possessed. The cabin is possessed and it's just messing with him now.
Like I said, the cabin is a character.
Gallons and gallons bleeding out of the sockets, the electricity sockets, the wall, the brick, even the bulb.
So I remember as a
So,
kid, I didn't know what those plug sockets were, because in the UK we have 3-pronged plug sockets.
That's
And I
right.
was like,
right.
what is this thing that's bleeding? Like, oh, this is a
An
reference to
North American thing.
not Dawn of the Dead?
See that scene? Dawn of the Dead, yeah. I think so. You see that scene with him with projector bleeding on him?
Yeah.
There's a book that just that came out a little while ago. It's Evil Dead 1 40th anniversary hardcover book, and they use that same shot as the cover of it, you know. And they expanded on the story of the Evil Dead with permission from Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert, and they expanded on the story of this Evil Dead 1. A really good book. I highly recommend you guys get
I'm
it.
going to get it. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Because
It's called The
the thing
Evil
about-
Dead, the 40th anniversary.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna grab that, because the one thing I do really love about the story of the Evil Dead is everything that's not told to us. There's so much lore that isn't in the film.
Yeah.
Right.
The Evil Dead, Ash versus the Evil Dead, expanded on quite a lot, but not as much as I'd like. I need
But
more.
Jordan says, my dad looked at me weird when I got the Three Stooges horror gag. When I told him it was from A Plumbing We Will Go, he started laughing too. That's cool.
That's awesome. The drips, the drip drops. It almost
Yeah.
sounds like
Sound,
the
yeah,
the
it's
classic
amazing.
horror strings being plucked.
Why can we hear
Just
Westminster Abbey?
the quietness of the claustrophobia that you have him by himself here is amazing. Like, adds so much atmosphere in this scene. Here comes Sam Raimi's creative camera shots now. You're gonna find like
Yeah.
a slew of incredible angles and shots here.
Is this really a Sam Raimi film, though? Because I haven't seen Ted Raimi in this yet. Have I?
Oh, you have? You have. You just didn't know you have.
He was one of the fake chimps in the movie who were like covering up for one of the actors later
Just
on
the
because
hands coming out of the ground.
A young Ted Raimi.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's always going to be Henrietta, right? That's how.
Oh,
know him
yes.
From Evil Dead 2.
These shots are gorgeous. Nothing messes with your perception like a Dutch angle.
That's, by the way, I just posted a picture of the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
40th
That's
anniversary.
very cool.
Yeah, that's by the way, that's one of my birthday gifts coming up on May 12th that Leanne bought for me. So thank you, Leanne. Appreciate that.
Happy birthday.
Very nice. Thank you.
That's right, Mad Matt in Sequest DSV. What a great show. Not really.
Sequest.
It was terrible. Terrible.
Oh, look at that one with the camera passing over the beams. Like you could hear the. It's incredible.
Sequest DSV
And
was
this-
we have Star Trek at home.
Look at this shot. Like, how creative is that? Like the mirror with his hand going through it, like as if it was water. It's just incredible.
Yeah, James.
Like, I always
Elliot
wondered,
says-
like,
I was going to say, James
Yeah,
says,
sorry,
who
go
says
ahead,
16 millimeter? Who says 16 millimeter doesn't benefit from an upgrade to 4K? Well, that's the beauty of analog film, because it can be scanned at such high resolutions.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, sorry, Onzi, you were saying.
That
Yeah, I was
shot.
saying, like, the shot with the mirror with his hand going through, like they must have put like a frame over a bowl of water or something, or a bucket of water,
Mm-hmm.
and then they like leaned him over it and like greased his hair back probably, and then like let him put his hand, because that's the only way I can figure how they did that shot in such a creative way.
And John Carpenter stole it for Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
It's just such a great visual. The idea, it must have come to them in a dream, because it is a nightmarish visual of touching a mirror and just going straight through it like it's water. It's horrifying.
For sure. It's terrifying, yeah. By then, like any other person would have lost their mind, you know?
Yeah.
You killed everyone, you know?
Yes, Jedi Wizard. He didn't steal, he homaged.
He homaged, yeah. That's the word, homaged, yeah.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on
it
now.
definitely
Then
was.
he could use that to make a fire and kill them. See, and then it would have been.
Yeah. I'm going to test it on ants first.
Yeah.
Move up to dead.
Yeah, at our little creative VC getaway, I'm going to be terrified. You're going to be looking at everything and be like, yep, I could use this spork to kill you guys with if I have to.
Yeah.
Saving that for a rainy day. God dang.
The ultimate weapon. The ultimate weapon, my magnum.
Anything's a weapon if you put your mind to it. Oh.
Oh, that's the part when he shot him. You could see the tube there. Did you see the in her
Yeah.
face? You see, when they blew this up to 4K and HD, you could tell, but when the older VHS copies, it wasn't very apparent. But I guess when you go a little...
Yeah, that's the only thing. As good as 4K can be sometimes, it does show the sins where they relied on, you know, the clarity not being there.
Mm-hmm.
Camera work like that,
Cheryl
showing
really wants a piece of me.
the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon, just zooming in on it, and it's saying, "Hey, look, this here is important."
Oh, this part with the and he goes all in, you know, not like just like gouging it. He goes all thumbs, like, you know. Oh. It's like it was a corkscrew that plugged all the blood that was in his body. That
just pulled the cork out.
Mm-hmm.
That is the thing about the gore in this film. Whereas Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there is barely any. With this, it lingers on the gore shots.
Yeah, complete opposite in terms of
the
gore.
ankle. It isn't just in and then it cuts. No, it's in. It swirls.
It, and he breaks it off. Yeah. Very
and
gruesome.
just then, thumbs go in, one knuckle deep, two knuckles deep, elbow deep. It just keeps going.
So to go back to what you said about Taco Bell earlier, this film could be summarized, the ending of it, as they've all had 4 Gordita Supremes each, and there's one bathroom in the house, and they're all fighting to get there.
That's right.
No one.
And then just they let it all out.
Yeah.
Look at the chain here. It's in the shape of a skull. Did you guys notice that before you picked it up?
Wow.
It was like shaped in the shape of a skull. I like that touch. Here's the hot poker, Andrew. She used it, not him.
Ow.
She got the idea. So thank you. And getting bitten too. Like, how much torture can you do?
Honestly, I would have no faith in grabbing the book with that pitiful thing.
That, yeah.
Anthony Glasses says, "I love the ending. It's an everlasting eye candy. It is cool."
It is.
I would have loved it if he missed, and he's like, and he has to hook it again.
Who was the special makeups guy on this? I think it was Tom Sullivan was his name. And there's a documentary called Invincible or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe someone in the chat can post it. It was a really good documentary about him making The Evil Dead, you know, the first Evil Dead movie. very detailed. I think it's included in the new Evil Dead collection that has Ash vs. Evil Dead and Evil Dead 1 and 2. I think it's included in one of them. Really good document. It's called Invincible. Invincible, I think, yeah.
Do you ever remember, Andrew? You might remember it. The Trap Door, the
Yeah, the
claymation.
cartoon. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that a lot as a kid. I had loads of VHS tapes of the Trap Door, and I remember splicing this segment into the Trap Door.
It is
my,
like an episode of
memory.
Trapdoor, yeah, like an adult episode.
Don't you open that trap door! Oh my god, it is!
Yeah.
Because there's something
You're a fool.
down
You're a fool if you dare.
Yeah. And there's Boney.
Yep. It's Trapdoor.
All right, Boney.
What the hell is that? Like oatmeal,
Yeah,
mashed
it is
potatoes.
It's like oatmeal, I think. But...
Look, I've worked in the
So
NHS. I've seen people produce worse sludge from wounds.
Worse stuff. Gross.
It is a very colourful gore sequence. Like, you don't see many greens and blues
Actually,
with...
I think I know what that is. It's probably grits.
Yeah, it probably is grits.
Probably, yeah. Look at that, like
a
demons
nice
just popping out of your body.
Oh.
Oh, this scene is so good with the head falling down in the shadow. So good. Sam Raimi's like, here, have another splash of blood on your face. And they've got roaches
and a snake.
Yeah. When you're rotted inside by a deadite, you're really rotted inside from being a deadite. Such a good scene. Join us.
God, how many join us did we use for our In Search of Darkness material? Every time we promote it, it's just like, it's an easy one. Come on, join us.
Join us.
It's so good. Respectfully to the Evil Dead.
Anthony Glass says, "Is anyone hungry?" No, never again.
Could go for some Taco Bell right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure people who are like at the movie theater watching this movie is like, they looked at their popcorn, like, man, no, I'm just gonna put it aside because I don't want to.
Why did I get extra butter on this?
Yeah.
I chose the wrong day to eat canned peas at the cinema. It was my grandmother's pendant that I stole from her that saved the day.
That saved my butt.
Yeah.
Is that a setting sun? It is.
Rising setting, maybe.
It's supposed to be rising, but it looked like it was setting.
Yep.
They only had like so much film left, and they missed the sunrise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks to be setting. Not
I like
rising.
how they paid attention to detail.
Yeah.
Like, look at the door. The attention with when she punched her hands in and grabbed him. They just kept that in for continuity, I guess. So good.
They might not have had a choice. Probably couldn't repair the door.
That's true.
True.
Why is the sun getting lower when it's rising?
Exactly. I think that was the same shot as well.
Everything's messed up in this world. Time goes backwards.
Everything's wrong.
This is a cool shot. I always used to call this the camera monster when I was a kid, but now we know it's called the force. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ash goes back to work on Monday, and they say to him, "Did you have a good weekend?" "It's all right. Much happened."
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But there we go, everybody. That was The Evil Dead. Thank you for joining us for that, Onzi. It's been great to have you here. Let's get the comments from our... You're very welcome, my friend. And we'll get the comments from our friends on YouTube and Discord. So, I think we've all said enough about this movie, but let's go and have a look at some of the comments from our friends, which were Pepjin says, fun flick, thank you. I've now seen the full trilogy. Well, that's brilliant. Thank you, Pepjin. And then Sharon says, love it, never gets old. Chaosphere, back to S-Mart. Eric, this was awesome. Great movie, great watch party. Sharon, thanks for joining us, Onzi. Love this movie, great filmmaking on display from Jedi Wizard. Leanne says, that was great. Lizardman says, a true classic of the decade. Not my favourite of the series, but I enjoy it more every time. And Jesse Flores says, whole series show is so much fun. Well, you're very welcome, and it's great to have you all with us. Chaosphere said, always a great watch. Was made great by watching it with you all. It has been a lot of fun, this watch party. Well, I can see Mad Matt is typing. We'll wait for Mad Matt's comment, and then we'll talk about there. Oh,
let's watch the show. It's going to be a long watch.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
And Mad Matt, I understand.
Go ahead.
Mad Matt says he still prefers Army of Darkness, which I understand, the more comedy direction. And Anthony Glattis says, thank you for this legendary watch along. We kicked Ash with the best horror doc in the universe. That's brilliant. Go on, Onzi, I'll let you have the final word on the movie.
Yeah, I was just saying that I like how at the end of the credits it says Evil Dead, the ultimate experience in grueling terror, which was a tagline that they used a lot in the day to market the movie, because it was really the ultimate experience in grueling terror. What a night, right, for him to go through. And there's a documentary that was supposed to come out by, it was done by Evil Dead fans, for Evil Dead fans, kind of like how our Creator VC documentaries are. It was called, it was by this Canadian guy that I met at Fan Expo in 2010 or 2015. It's called Hail to the Deadites. Okay. And it's supposed to have come out like 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and it kept being pushed back. And they just released a trailer for it last year. So it's hopefully this year that it'll come out. But there's a trailer for it on YouTube if you check it out. It's called Hail to the Deadites. So they've got interviews with Bruce Campbell and all the fans, like the heavy hardcore collector fans of Evil Dead. So I hope it comes out soon and we can all enjoy that. I think it's going to be a good one.
That should we want to certainly keep an eye out for. Well, everybody, that's the end of this watch party, and our friend Dom is taking a break next week. How dare you, Dom?
Yeah, my wife is having a birthday. How dare she? So I'm going to spend it with her instead of you guys. I'm sorry.
I will be back next week, and our great friend Rocco will be joining us. And we will be going into 90s horror with a particular favourite of mine that wasn't a favourite when I first saw it. We'll discuss this next week. We are going to be watching Interview with the Vampire, which I absolutely... It's a movie I grew into. I don't want to get into too much of it for next week. We'll get into it next week, but really looking forward to it. That's a great, fun...
great movie, yeah.
It is. Really great movie. Everyone's saying interesting choice for next week. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll see you all then. But for the next 7 days, as always, please... be kind, be safe, look after each other, and I'll see you in 7 days, and Dom will see you in 14 days.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
And I'll see you guys online. And
exactly. Onzi will always be there. Good night, everybody.
Take care, guys. Good night.